What if the fate of the world rested in the hands of two nations across a narrow strait? Sounds like the stuff of thrillers, right? But this is no fiction. It's the pulsating reality of China-Taiwan relations. A tale of history, identity, and global influence. A saga that reverberates far beyond their borders, impacting economies, politics, and lives across the globe. It's a story marked by the ebb and flow of power, the struggle for recognition, and the looming shadow of a possible conflict. Well, brace yourself as we dive into the complex and dynamic history of China-Taiwan relations. To understand the present, we must delve into the past. So, let's turn back the clock to the late 1940s. It's a time of turmoil, a time of change, a time of revolution. The Chinese Civil War is in full swing, a fierce struggle between the nationalists, known as the Kuomintang, led by Chiang Kai-shek, and the communists, under the guidance of Mao Zedong. This was not merely a fight for territory but a battle of ideologies. The nationalists, who formed the Republic of China, espoused a democratic capitalist system, while the communists aimed to establish a socialist state under the People's Republic of China. As the war waged on, it became increasingly clear that the communists were gaining the upper hand. In 1949, with the mainland slipping from their grasp, the nationalists made a strategic retreat. They crossed the Taiwan-Strait and established a new seat of government on the island of Taiwan. It was a move of survival, a desperate bid to hold on to their democratic ideals. Meanwhile, on the mainland, Mao Zedong triumphantly declared the establishment of the People's Republic of China. The world watched as two Chinas, each claiming the rightful leadership of the Chinese people, took shape. This ideological divide was not just about governance, it was about identity, about the soul of a nation, about what it meant to be truly Chinese. As the dust settled, it became evident that this was not a temporary situation. Two governments, each with their distinct ideologies, were now operating under the same Chinese sky, each claiming to be the legitimate representative of China. This was the genesis of a divide that would shape the course of history. With the backdrop set, we now enter a period of escalating tensions and frequent standoffs. The Taiwan-Strait, a narrow body of water separating the island of Taiwan from mainland China, has been the stage for multiple crises. This piece of ocean, a mere 100 miles wide, bore witness to the Taiwan-Strait crises, a series of military clashes between the People's Republic of China and the Republic of China in Taiwan. These crises, notably in the mid-20th century, saw the world teetering on the brink of a major conflict, with the United States often finding itself drawn into the fray. Meanwhile, a seismic shift was happening on the global political stage. The international community began to shift their recognition from Taipei to Beijing. In 1971, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution recognizing the People's Republic of China as the only legitimate representative of China to the United Nations. This was a significant blow to Taiwan, marking a decline in its diplomatic presence on the world stage. Around the same time, the world was introduced to the One China policy. Under this policy, countries seeking diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China were required to sever ties with Taiwan. This policy further marginalized Taiwan, as countries around the globe were forced to make a choice between the two. During this period, Taiwan found itself in a precarious situation. On one hand, it was striving to maintain its identity and sovereignty. On the other, it was grappling with the reality of its dwindling diplomatic recognition and the looming threat of military aggression from its powerful neighbor. These tensions and turmoil were not just about political maneuverings or strategic interests. They were, at their core, about the struggle of a people to define their own identity and destiny in the face of overwhelming odds. As the world chose sides, Taiwan found itself increasingly isolated. While political tensions simmered, an economic powerhouse was quietly taking shape. Taiwan, long under the shadow of mainland China, was making strides in the global economic landscape. This was no ordinary growth, but an economic miracle, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the Taiwanese people. Taiwan's rise to economic prominence can be traced back to its dominance in the semiconductor industry. Semiconductors, the heart of modern electronics, are the lifeblood of our digital age, and Taiwan had become the world's leading producer of these tiny, yet crucial components. The island's manufacturers were supplying chips for everything from electric vehicles to mobile phones, with exports worth over $100 billion. But this economic prowess came with its own set of challenges. Taiwan's heavy reliance on the semiconductor industry made it vulnerable to the fluctuations of the global market. Moreover, over 40% of these exports were going to China, a fact that laid bare the complex and often fraught economic relationship between the two sides. While Taiwan's economic rise was impressive, its diplomatic struggles were no less significant. Despite its economic contributions to the global stage, Taiwan was often sidelined in international forums. Its status as a separate entity from China was often contested, and its voice was frequently drowned out by the political machinations of larger powers. Despite these challenges, Taiwan showed remarkable resolve. Its chief trade negotiator, John Deng, warned of the potential global impact of a Chinese military attack, underscoring Taiwan's crucial role in the world economy. And in a bold display of diplomatic defiance, U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, showing support for the island nation and its struggle for international recognition. In the face of adversity, Taiwan was carving out its own path. This little island, once caught in the crossfire of geopolitical tensions, was now a beacon of economic resilience and diplomatic tenacity. It was a testament to the spirit of its people, who despite the odds were determined to shape their own destiny. Fast forward to the present day, and the stakes have never been higher. The world watches with bated breath as the dragon of the East, China, flexes its muscles more assertively than ever before. In the shadows of this colossal power, Taiwan, a small island with a vibrant democracy, stands firm, refusing to bow to the pressure. The recent years have seen an alarming rise in China's military posturing and assertive rhetoric. From increased aerial incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone to the controversial anti-secession law, there's a palpable tension over the Taiwan-Strait that hasn't been felt in decades. But it's not just about Taiwan and China. The U.S., a longtime supporter of Taiwan, finds itself in a precarious position. On one hand, it faces the challenge of protecting its democratic ally without sparking a full-fledged conflict with China. On the other, it's navigating the complex waters of diplomacy, as seen in the visit of U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan, the most senior U.S. politician to do so since 1997. This visit, while seen as a symbolic stand against the Chinese Communist Party, also represented a shift in U.S. policy, further complicating the geopolitical landscape. However, the potential fallout of this conflict isn't limited to these three players. Taiwan isn't just a small island, it's a global powerhouse in the semiconductor industry, the heart of modern technology. With exports worth over $100 billion last year, any disruption to Taiwan's output could send shockwaves through the global economy. From electric vehicles to mobile phones, a worldwide shortage of supply could be on the horizon if conflict arises. But amidst these challenges, there are also glimmers of hope. Taiwan continues to demonstrate resilience, standing up for its democratic values and asserting its identity. The question of whether Taiwanese people would fight for their homeland in the event of war hangs in the air, but their courage, reminiscent of the bravery of their forebears, suggests they won't back down without a fight. As we watch history unfold, the question remains, what does the future hold for China and Taiwan? As we've seen, the China-Taiwan issue is not just a regional dispute, but a global concern. It's a saga that begins in the annals of history, with roots entrenched in a shared past and diverging paths that have shaped two distinct identities. From the courage of the Taiwanese during the Japanese invasion, to the current tensions brewing, the underlying theme is one of resilience and the will to safeguard their homeland. This is not just about geopolitics, it's about people, their stories, their sacrifices, and their identities. The economic rise of Taiwan as a global powerhouse in the semiconductor industry further complicates this narrative. An attack on Taiwan would not only disrupt regional stability but could also send shockwaves through global trade networks affecting everyone from Silicon Valley to Stuttgart. The diplomatic chess game continues to unfold on the international stage, with nations delicately balancing their relations with China and their support for Taiwan. But amidst all the political maneuvering, we must not forget the human element, the people of Taiwan, whose lives and futures are on the line. The visit by U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi, despite Beijing's warnings, is a testament to the enduring spirit of Taiwan and the international support it garners. It's a reminder that this is not just Taiwan's struggle, but a global fight for democracy, freedom, and human rights. As we ponder the future, one thing is clear. The story of China and Taiwan is far from over. The chapters yet to be written will undoubtedly be filled with more trials and triumphs, more tensions and resolutions. But through it all, the resilience of the Taiwanese people will continue to shine, a beacon of hope in a complex world. As we journey forward, let's not just observe as detached spectators, let's engage, let's learn, and let's remember that at the heart of it all are people with stories worth listening to. As we ponder the future, one thing is clear: the story of China and Taiwan is far from over.